Hello there, YouTube. This is the Rogue Gem Player today, coming at you with a brand new deck profile. It's going to be White Forest Azamina for the November format of 2025. It is pretty much a streamlined 40-card version of the deck. If you want to add other things, you can as well. But this is something that I've been kind of messing with just because I have a little bit of free time to do so. So let's get right on into it. I like the deck mainly because it is one of those decks that plays a lot of different things. And there really isn't a set way of playing it. There used to be a lot of variants, but then they start getting hit by ban lists and things like that. So its ability to adapt is what I like about it the most. So let's start with the main deck monsters. We're going to start with 3 copies of Elzet of the White Forest. She is the best one in the entire deck, at least currently. It can change depending on how hand traps and things like that go, but it is the best one mainly because you discard a spell, summon her, and then you get to add a White Forest monster from deck to hand. So it can be any of the White Forest cards that you need if you already have like Sylvie and things like that. And then it does have a recursion where if a White Forest Synchro is special to your field during your opponent's turn, you can obviously add it back to your hand, but we don't usually do that, mainly because we don't really synchro on our opponent's turn really all that much, if at all. So, but it is one of the main starters that is unfortunately really susceptible to droll, but it gets around like imperm, effect failure, and things like that. So keep that in mind. To complement Elzet, we do play 1 copy of a Stellar. She's only a 1 of now. She used to be a 2 or 3 of, but her ability to still do the same result, but differently, gets around things like Droll Knockbird because you are summoning from the deck, you're not adding. So that is something that can come in mind. And then while she's in the graveyard, if you ditch a spell trap, you can add her to activate an effect. You can add it back. You can special summon her, so she is a extender if you choose to use her in that case. And then we do play 1 copy of the Elzet Azamina, mainly because we do use the effect to either fusion summon and or synchro in the same turn if we absolutely need to. So keep that in mind. Not to mention she can reveal herself to summon herself anyway because she is a White Forest card. We then play 3 copies of Sylvie of the White Forest. She is the best tuner in the deck currently until we get more or some other, other thing, because she does add a White Forest spell trap, which is the field spell. And usually it's the field spell that you add last because you are going to be going into other combos that require it, or any of the White Forest spell traps. It's fun. So, not to mention she does recur herself if you absolutely need to do so. We then play 1 Rusia of the White Forest. She's in here mainly because she is another extender that you can search. If you already have the Sylvie, you can just special her and then ditch a spell to draw a card. So it does, and then has the same graveyard effect as Sylvie, where you can bounce a White Forest Synchro to special it. So keep that in mind. And then to start off the bridges, which is the Sinful Spoils stuff, we are playing 3 copies of Diabel Star the Black Witch. She is, in my opinion, a mandatory 3 of. The fact that she does a lot of things for the deck, maintains consistency. Yes, you can play 1 copy and then play 3 of Wanted, but I still play 3 Wanted anyway because it's still something you can discard that can still give you plays. It doesn't punish you for not playing 3 of her. Not to mention, if you're playing things like, if your opponent's playing like things like Bisteals and things like that, you still want access to her when you can. So she is, in my opinion, still mandatory to play. We then play, for the last ones, we are playing 1 copy of Diabel's the White Witch and 1 copy of Diabel Star Vengeance. This is part of the Diabel card combo that you want to resolve these 2 at all times because it is a pretty resilient board. And not to mention, it's very easy to set up anyway if you open with it anyway. We then play, the only non-engine monsters we're playing is 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. If you have Molcharmies, you can play Molcharmies. I will note at time of recording, the 5D's character decks have not been released yet, which do have a copy of the 3 Molcharmies in all of them. So keep that in mind, keep a lookout for that because you will want to pick those up. For spells, we're playing 3 copies of Wanted. This is a really, really important card. Not to mention, it is a Sinful Spoils card, so you can use it off of the Hallowed Azamina and still get the resolution of its effect if you play it specifically. Not to mention, it does give you free draws, so it might help you in a grind game while putting resources back. We then play 3 copies of Witch of the White Forest. It is mandatory to play 3 of this. It gives you so much advantage by not only searching White Forest monsters. It does lock you into darks for the rest of the turn from the extra, but once you've established your board, you don't actually access the Azamina stuff after, unless you absolutely have to do so. And then you can protect your monsters from battle, or White Forest monsters, and then you can treat a White Forest as a tuner if you absolutely have to go this route. We then play, although the one-of stuff, we are playing the Hallowed Azamina, 1 Deception of Sinful Spoils, 1 copy of Tales of the White Forest, and 1 copy of Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. You have to play these. Hallowed Azamina, you can resolve it multiple times. Deception, you have to in order to access the Hallowed Azamina anyway, if you don't already have it. And then Tales and Sinful Spoils of the White Forest, you can search and you use them multiple times in a game if you absolutely have to do it that way. Not to mention that you're going to be searching them, that gives you access to other things as well. So that is all of the quote-unquote direct support cards. And then the non-engine spells, we are playing 3 copies of Lightning Storm. This is something that I'm kind of testing. We have access to it, we're going to play it. I like having board breakers. And then 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet, because we don't play our entire deck is 1.5 card starters, so we always have a hand to really play with. And then the 1 copy of Call by the Grave to round off like the mandatory non-engine. And then we are playing the last like major engine thing is 1 copy of Curse of Diabel and 1 Filia Diabel. You actually have to play these in order to access Vengeance and Diabels at the same time, because you use Diabels to send Curse, which adds Filia, and then you use Filia to add Vengeance, which gives you the rest of your engine. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence and the 1 copy of Sinful Spoils of Slumber Morian. This is a disruption that you can recur from your graveyard if you absolutely need to do so. Now for the extra deck is kind of dependent on exactly where you want to take the deck. There are certain cards that you can completely cut if you want, but if you want to, you can. But this is one I've been messing around with. We are playing 1 copy of Rhycelia, Sinister Stole. This is the first card you pretty much make. If you're gonna make it, you're gonna make this, and then you immediately send a spell trap to add a White Forest card or Light Spellcaster, and the card that you're usually discarding is going to be Tails, which immediately sets itself, which gives you another search later on. So keep that in mind. Not to mention, you do have that on-field effect to buff all of your illusion and spellcasters by 500 and prevent them from being destroyed by card effects. So keep that in mind. We then play 1 copy of Silvera, Wolf Tamer of the White Forest. You have to play this card because you can float into this, or you can summon it if you absolutely need to, because it does Book of Eclipse your opponent's board, and then does give all your monsters buffs while giving them piercing, double piercing in fact. So we then play the 1 Diabel Queen, the 1 Poplar, and the 1 Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. These are part of your combo. In fact, the standard combo, you can access this very easily. So it does give you a lot to think about. And then for the Azamina stuff, we're playing the 1 copy of Soul, Excursion, or Skirthion, Mu Rhycilago, 1 copy of Ilia Sylvia, 1 copy of Mo Regina, and the 1 copy of Saint Azamina along with Azamina. This is in here because you can use it to out stuff. Not to mention it is a 4000 beat stick that is unaffected by, that can't be destroyed by card effects. So keep that in mind. And then Saint Azamina can float out one of these guys for free, which is why you can make Mo Regina very easily if you can make Saint as well. So that is the Azamina stuff. We then play 1 Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. You make this off of the Poplar because the Poplar puts 2 in the spell trap. And then you play 1 Guardian Chimera as a generic kind of like overall fusion that can still do things as a disruption that you can play with Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. We then play 1 copy of SP Little Knight and the 1 copy of IP Masquerena to round off the main deck or extra. This is in here in case you get disrupted before you get to your field spell. You could still make a board that will still give you a disruption as well. So that is the deck for the most part. Like I said, it's only a 40 card variant of the deck. You can play like more Lawn Engine, you can play a bigger engine, other stuff you can throw in. Fiendsmith if you have the expertise in putting that together as well. So like I said, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.